In this movie, I'm going to show you how to create those super deluxe glow rings that are surrounding the light bulb. So all notions of subtlety have gone out the window here, but I like it. I think the effect looks pretty cool. So we're going to start off inside this file, which contains the two burst layers. And if you're working along with me, I want you to click on that burst 2 layer to make it active. And now we're going to draw the glow rings using the ellipse tool. So click and hold on whatever vector shape tool you see toward the bottom of the toolbox, and then select the ellipse tool from the flyout menu. We're going to once again start things off by dragging from the center of this filament group here. And I'm going to press the Shift and Alt keys, or the Shift and Option keys on the Mac, in order to draw a circle from the center outward. In order to make sure that I've properly aligned this shape, I'm pressing the space bar as well. And then I'll release the space bar when I get it where I want it. And about yay big should work for our first circle. Then go ahead and release in order to create that shape. It'll appear in whatever color you have set for the foreground color. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and change the name of this layer to Circle 1. And then you want to change the fill value to 0 so that you can't see, in my case, the black fill of the shape. That way, we will just be able to see the layer effects that we're about to apply. All right, I'll accept that value by pressing the Enter key or the Return key on the Mac. I'm going to click on the Vector Mask thumbnail here inside the Layers panel to hide that path outline. And then I'll drop down to the FX icon at the bottom of the panel, and I'll choose Outer Glow. And I'm going to assign that same color that we've been using for all of the glow effects by clicking on what is by default a yellow square in order to bring up the color picker dialog box. And I'm going to change the hue value to 25 degrees, the saturation value to 40%, and I'll leave the brightness value set to 100%. Then click OK. Let's go ahead and take the opacity value up to 100%. I'm going to take the size value for the outer glow up to 45 pixels, and I'll take the spread value up to 10%. Then I'm going to change the blend mode from screen to the brightest mode there is, linear dodge in parentheses add. All right, that looks great. Let's do pretty much the same thing for the inner glow effect so that we don't have this sharp edge on the inside of the circle. Click on Inner Glow to make it active. Click on that yellow color swatch to bring up the color picker dialog box. Change the hue value to 25 degrees, the saturation value to 40%, the brightness value to 100%. Click OK. Let's take the opacity value up to 100%. This is essential, by the way. Unless you want to see some kind of edge around the circle, both of the opacity values have to be 100%. We'll take the size value up to 35 pixels this time. I'm going to take the choke value up to 10%, and then I'm going to change the blend mode from screen to linear dodge. And notice as soon as I do, right now, the screen effect ends up creating kind of a flat edge where the circle intersects the starburst. But as soon as I switch to linear dodge add, then I get this bright interaction, which is just dynamite in my opinion. All right, now I'll click OK in order to accept that effect. Let's go ahead and collapse the effects here inside the Layers panel by clicking that up pointing arrowhead. And now I'm going to press Control-Alt-J or Command-Option-J to make a copy of this layer, and I'll call it Circle 2 this time around. Click OK. And now we're going to increase the size of the circle by going up to the Edit menu and choosing Free Transform Path. And I'm going to press the Shift and Alt keys, very important. Those would be the Shift and Option keys on the Mac. And then I'm dragging the lower right handle until the shape is about this big. Now, the reason I'm pressing Shift and Alt, or Shift and Option on the Mac, by the way, is because pressing and holding the Shift key goes ahead and constrains the scaling proportionally so that I'm maintaining a circle. Pressing and holding the Alt or Option key scales the shape from the center outward. All right, once I get the shape I figure about this big, I'll release my mouse button, and then you release the keys, by the way. And then I'll press the Enter key or the Return key on a Mac in order to apply that change. All right, I want this second circle to have a lower opacity setting, so I'm going to press the 5 key in order to reduce the opacity value to 50%. That reduces the opacity of the layer effects as well. Then I'll click on the Circle 1 layer in order to make it active, and I'll type in 7.5 in order to reduce that opacity value to 75%. Now, obviously, it's no good having these circular rings cutting through the light bulb this way. So we're going to mask them, and we're going to mask them together as a group. So with Circle 1 selected, shift-click on the Circle 2 layer to select it as well. Then go up to the Layers panel flyout menu icon, click on it, and choose New Group from Layers. And we'll go ahead and call this new group Rings and click OK. All right, now I want to use that vector mask that traces the light bulb that's associated with the bulb layer, by the way. I want to use it to mask this rings group. So I'll press the Alt key or the Option key on a Mac, and I'll drag that vector mask thumbnail and then drop it onto the rings layer. And because you have the Alt or Option key down, you go ahead and copy the vector mask as opposed to move it. Now, all is not right. What we're doing at this point is we're masking the circular rings inside the light bulb. We actually want to hide the circular rings inside the light bulb, so we need to reverse the behavior of this vector mask. Click on the vector mask thumbnail to select it so that you can see the path outline. Then I want you to grab the black arrow tool from the toolbox. Very important that you get the black arrow tool, which is the path selection tool, not the white arrow tool. Go ahead and select that tool and then click on the path outline to make it active. Now go up to the options bar and click the second icon in, which is subtract from shape area. And that's just like inverting the mask, by the way. Notice the vector mask thumbnail now shows the light bulb as being gray and it shows the background as being white. And what that tells you is the light bulb is being concealed and the area outside the light bulb is being revealed. And as a result, we're seeing the rings all the way around the bulb, but they're not cutting through the bulb. All right, I'm going to click on that layer mask thumbnail to hide the path outline inside the image window. Not really very happy with these sharp edges around the base of the bulb here. So I'm going to add a pixel-based layer mask to this group once again. So with a group selected, drop down to the bottom of the layers panel and click on the add layer mask icon. And then grab the brush tool, which you can get by pressing the B key. Right-click inside the image window. And I'm going to change the size value to 400 pixels and change the hardness value to 50%. And then press the Enter key or the Return key on a Mac in order to hide that panel. Make sure your foreground color is black. If it isn't, then press the D and X keys sequentially in order to make it so. And I want you to click right about here in order to paint those rings away. And if you feel like you need to click a second time, that's just fine, of course. I might click up here as well. And that gives me the effect I'm looking for. All right, I'm going to switch back to the rectangular marquee tool, press the F key a couple of times in order to switch to the full screen mode and zoom in on that image. And this is the final over-the-top, super deluxe, soft vector starburst plus soft concentric ring effect here inside Photoshop.